Return of the past. Someone from your past wants to return, but their spirit is not the same. Michael warns you. My beloved one, the air around you has shifted. Can you feel it? Something unseen is trying to find its way back into your life. Archangel Michael has come forth with a divine message tonight, a warning wrapped in light. The person you once knew, the one who carries memories of laughter and tears, is now walking toward you again, but their spirit is no longer the same. The angels whisper that the energy attached to them hath been altered. What once was love, peace, or comfort may now carry a shadow of confusion, manipulation, or deception. Michael says, do not be blinded by nostalgia. What feels familiar is not always safe. The one returning from your past carries both memory and mystery, but the spirit within them is not what it used to be. You might have felt sudden thoughts of this person lately, random dreams, emotional waves, or even strange coincidences reminding you of them. This is not by accident. Michael reveals that when a spirit's vibration changes, their presence tries to reconnect with the ones who once gave them light. You were that light, and now they are drawn to it again, not out of love but out of need. But listen closely, this is not a message to fear. It is a message to prepare. Archangel Michael stands as your shield, his sword of truth ready to cut through illusions. He says, when they return, you must look not with your eyes, but with your discernment. Their words will sound familiar, their smile may still carry warmth, but their spirit will reveal itself through vibration, not emotion. Child of light, you are being tested in this season. A door from your past will soon knock again. It may come through a message, a call, or a chance encounter that seems too perfectly timed. But Michael says, timing is not always divine. Sometimes it's a test. So hold your peace. Before you respond, listen with your spirit. The one who returns might not even be aware that their essence has shifted. They may carry a spirit of confusion, or be bound by something that seeks your energy, your peace, your divine favor. But you are not called to rescue everyone, especially those who refuse to walk in light. Stay alert. Stay grounded in truth. Archangel Michael is commanding his legion to surround you in this moment. You are protected, but you must be wise. The time of emotional illusion is over. This is your season of spiritual clarity. And just when you think the story of the past is over, that's when the real revelation begins. Hold on. You want to see what happens next. Type "I walk in discernment" in the comments if this message speaks to your soul. Lesson code 1144 is now active over your life. Dearest heart of light, Archangel Michael is revealing something deeper now. The one from your past is not returning by accident. This moment has been carefully aligned in the unseen realms. But what you must know is this: not every return is a reunion. Some returns are spiritual checks, designed to measure your growth. Michael whispers, you have already been delivered from what once held you captive. Do not mistake a closed cycle for an open invitation. The energy of the past often carries a powerful emotional imprint. It tries to re-enter through the familiar, through memories, words, even scents that awaken old emotions. The darkness knows that the easiest door to open is the one that was once loved. This is why your mind has been wandering lately, why you felt sudden nostalgia or emotional waves that seem to have no reason. These are not random feelings, they are signals. The spirit world is stirring, and something that once knew your light is reaching for it again. Michael says, you are no longer the same. Your energy, your vibration, your understanding of truth, all have evolved. What once could reach you can no longer touch you unless you open the door again. The person who wants to return may carry the same face, the same tone, even the same words of apology or affection, but their inner core has been altered. The light within them has dimmed, and something else, something foreign, seeks to move through them. This is why Michael is warning you, not to harden your heart, but to strengthen your discernment. You must be able to sense the difference between a healed soul and a haunted one. When this person appears, look beyond the surface. Their eyes may look the same, but their spirit may feel colder, heavier, or strangely empty. This is not your imagination. Your intuition is speaking, and the angels confirm it. Do not be swayed by guilt or longing. You have already walked through the fire, and your spirit has been refined. To return to what once burned you would only dim the light you fought so hard to protect. Michael reminds you, when the past comes knocking, remember what it cost you to leave it behind. Some lessons were not meant to be repeated. They were meant to elevate you. There is divine strength in silence. There is power in choosing peace over familiarity. When you stand firm in your light, you do not reject them. You simply refuse to feed what no longer aligns with your destiny. Michael's sword of truth cuts through every illusion now, and he says, your spirit will recognize the shift before your mind does. Trust it. You are entering a moment where old connections may test your emotional balance. But do not be afraid. You are surrounded by divine light, and your spiritual armor has been strengthened for this exact time. Remember, the enemy often imitates the familiar to gain access to your peace. But once you see it clearly, its power dissolves. And just when it seems like this is the end of the warning, Michael says the revelation will deepen, because soon he will show you why this spirit has returned and what it truly wants. Stay close to the message, because the next unveiling will shock you. Type "I trust my discernment" in the comments if you feel this confirmation in your spirit. Blessing code 2299 has been released into your path. Beloved one, Archangel Michael speaks again, and his voice carries both urgency and mercy. He says, you are about to see the truth beneath the mask. The person from your past who wishes to return is not coming merely to reconnect. They are being guided, influenced, or even stirred by forces they cannot comprehend. The angels reveal that their soul has walked through dark valleys since you last saw them. Life has pressed them, pain has reshaped them, and certain choices have opened unseen doors. Now, something spiritual is attempting to use that open door to reach you. Michael reminds you that the enemy does not always approach with fear. Sometimes, it comes clothed in familiarity, using kindness as a key. You must listen with your spirit, not your heart alone. For this person may say all the right things, their tone may sound sincere, but something within you will feel unsettled. That unease is not paranoia, it is discernment. Your inner spirit, aligned with Michael's protection, is detecting a change. The same person may stand before you, but the vibration of their soul will tell you everything. The reason this moment is so critical is because your destiny has entered a season of manifestation. When light begins to rise, darkness sends distraction. The returning spirit is not just a person. It is a test of alignment. Michael says, if you welcome what no longer carries your frequency, you delay what heaven is trying to release for you. Your breakthrough, your peace, your next divine connection. All of it depends on your ability to guard your gate. You may notice strange signs before they reappear, dreams where old faces surface, sudden thoughts about moments long forgotten, or music that triggers emotion for no reason. These are not coincidences. They are spiritual precursors. The universe is alerting you that energy is moving. The angelic realm is preparing your awareness so you won't be deceived when the encounter comes. Michael wants you to understand this. Compassion and connection are holy, but compromise is not. You can forgive the past without returning to it. You can bless them without binding yourself again. There is a difference between closure and reopening a wound. The Archangel declares, "You cannot heal in the same energy that once broke you." That statement is not condemnation. It's divine instruction. The same spirit that once drained you may now seek another opportunity to attach itself to your growth. But you have it all. You are not who you were then. You carry new authority now, and this authority requires boundaries. The old cycle cannot follow you into the new season. If you allow it, Michael's light will surround your home, your heart, and your decisions. You will not be fooled, because divine discernment is already activating within you. Hold on, because the next revelation will expose what this returning spirit truly wants and why it chose this moment to come back. Trust me, this next part will open your eyes in ways you don't expect. Before you go further, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who may be facing a similar battle, and comment below what part of this message spoke to your heart. Make sure you subscribe, because what comes next carries prophetic weight that you cannot miss. Type "I am guarded by light" in the comments if this resonates with your soul. Blessing code 3311 is now activated. You have just felt the edge of a divine sword cutting through illusion. And if this word stirred something within you, this is your moment to sow into the light. Every time you give, whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, you are helping Archangel Michael's message of discernment reach souls trapped in deception. The Word of God says, "He who waters others will himself be watered." As you release, heaven releases over you. I am speaking directly to your spirit now. Your act of giving is not a donation. It's a declaration that darkness cannot silence divine truth. The oil that flows through this message flows into your home when you respond in faith. As you stand with this mission, the heavens will open doors that no man can shut. Give as you are led. The harvest moves toward those who move in obedience. Precious soul, Archangel Michael now begins to unveil the mystery behind why this spirit has returned. He says the enemy knows that unfinished emotions are unguarded doors. The reason this person from your past is being drawn back into your life is not purely emotional. It is spiritual. Something in your light threatens the darkness that has begun to cling to them. You are being observed by forces that once tried to weaken you, and now that your strength has increased, they seek to distract you again through the familiar. Michael reveals that when a person drifts from divine alignment, their energy becomes like a magnet, not for love, but for dependency. This returning soul may not come to harm you intentionally, but the spirit within them seeks what you carry: peace, light, and stability. That spirit cannot create those things. It can only feed on them. You must understand this. You are no longer just a person in their story. You are now a source of spiritual energy that their shadow desires to draw from. That is why Michael says, "Be kind, but stay guarded." You are light in a world that feeds on light. Perhaps you have already felt their presence before they appear. Maybe you sense tension in your atmosphere, felt sudden fatigue, or experienced waves of sadness for no reason. These are early signs that your spirit has detected the approach of something once familiar. Archangel Michael wants you to see that you are not imagining this. The more spiritually awakened you become, the more sensitive your spirit is to vibration shifts. This sensitivity is your protection, not your weakness. There is a moment coming soon when this returning person will express vulnerability. They might speak about pain, regret, or loneliness, and every part of your heart will want to comfort them. But Michael says, comfort does not always mean connection. You can pray for them, send light to them, and still keep your boundary. The true test is not whether you can forgive. You already have. The test is whether you can stay free after forgiving. That is where most souls fall back into bondage, mistaking mercy for invitation. This season demands spiritual maturity. Michael declares, you are being prepared for divine alignment, not emotional repetition. There are blessings assigned to you that require your focus and purity of energy. You cannot carry dead weight into new dimensions. The more you hold on to what has shifted away from God, the more your forward motion slows. The returning soul is a mirror from the past, but not a map to your future. Do not feel guilt for closing the door. Heaven celebrates boundaries because they protect divine purpose. You are not rejecting a person. You are rejecting an unholy influence. When you refuse to open the door, you are not acting in pride, but in obedience. The angel of the Lord stands behind you, affirming your decision. Michael's sword burns blue with fire as he proclaims, those who walk in light will never be consumed by the shadows of the past. And yet, even now, Michael warns that this return has layers. The visible meeting is only the beginning. The unseen intention will soon reveal itself. In the next revelation, the angel will uncover what the Spirit actually seeks to take, not your heart, but something much deeper. You'll thank yourself for holding on, because what's coming next will show the true depth of this divine warning. Type I stand in divine strength in the comments if this message aligns with your spirit. Blessing code 4400 is now active and shielding your path. Dearest light bearer, Archangel Michael stands before you now with a revelation that pierces through illusion. The one from your past who seeks to return is not only carrying emotional memory, they are carrying an energetic assignment. The spirit that travels with them has studied you. It knows your gentleness, your compassion, your longing to believe that people can change. That spirit hopes to use your empathy as a doorway. Michael says, what could not defeat you directly will now try to reach you emotionally. This is why the energy around you has felt heavier, why the air seems to thicken when you think of them, why your dreams have been charged with strange, familiar presence. In the divine realm, this moment is not coincidence. It is a test between past energy and your awakened soul. You have stepped into a higher frequency, and darkness cannot reach that place unless you lower your guard. The one approaching may seem sincere. They might talk about closure, friendship, or healing, but their spirit is not seeking peace. It is seeking entry. Michael warns you cannot heal someone who is not ready to leave the darkness they carry. You were once the source of calm in their storm, but now your calm is their target. That is why you must protect your peace as though it were sacred fire, because it is. Every spiritual connection is an exchange. Either you draw strength or you lose it. The person returning from your past once shared your energy pattern, but now they resonate at a vibration that is incompatible with your current path. This mismatch creates confusion, and confusion always opens doors for manipulation. The angels say, the wrong alignment may not destroy you instantly, but it drains you silently. You may not even realize the depletion until your spirit feels dimmer, your prayer life feels quieter, and your dreams lose color. That is how unclean energy disguises itself, through slow detachment from your divine rhythm. Michael urges you to discern energy, not emotion. The one who returns may show signs of repentance or transformation, but look for the fruit, not the words. True change produces peace, imitation produces pressure. If you feel anxious, uncertain, or spiritually foggy around them, that is your sign. You are not meant to reopen that door. Michael says, love them from a distance where your peace remains intact. You can send healing through prayer without exposing your soul to manipulation. In this season, God is positioning you for greater assignments. The old cycles are breaking, and your spiritual awareness is sharpening. Do not let sympathy make you spiritually blind. You are being prepared for new relationships, new alignments, and divine partnerships that match your calling. But the enemy will always try to pull one thread from the past to unravel your future. That is why this moment is so sacred. Your choice will determine your next elevation. When the message comes, when the call appears, when the familiar name lights up your screen, pause. Take a breath. Ask Michael to stand beside you. You will feel a subtle energy shift, a soft heat in your chest, or a calm assurance that tells you the answer. That feeling is truth. Trust it. For Michael says, when discernment speaks, silence is obedience. And just as you begin to understand the depth of this message, something even greater will be revealed next. Because the next unveiling is not about them. It's about you. Michael will show you why your light is attracting spiritual attention in this hour. Wait for it, because what comes next will redefine how you see yourself in the divine plan. Type "I am protected by light" in the comments if this message touches your soul. Blessing code 5522 is now released upon your spiritual path. Child of destiny, Archangel Michael now turns your attention away from the one returning and toward your own transformation. He says, the reason the past is reaching for you is because your present is radiating power. You have crossed into a vibration that disturbs old attachments. The light that now flows through you exposes everything that once fed on your uncertainty. This is why people, memories, and situations from your past seem to reappear, not because they are meant to stay, but because your growth is forcing them to reveal their true nature before they exit for good. The angel of the Lord stands with his sword drawn, declaring that you have become too bright for smallness. What once wounded you cannot control you anymore. The same words that once weakened you now sound empty in your spirit. That emptiness is not loss, it is liberation. It is proof that the healing has taken root. Michael reminds you, you have learned to see beyond appearances, to feel truth beneath emotion, and to recognize divine timing. This wisdom is not random. It was earned through the battles you survived. Understand this deeply. Your spiritual light attracts attention, both divine and deceptive. The darkness remembers who you were before you discovered your worth. It tries to reattach through nostalgia because nostalgia is one of the most powerful spiritual forces on earth. It disguises itself as comfort, yet it anchors souls in what God has already released them from. That is why Michael keeps warning, the past is not returning for your joy. It is returning to test your boundaries. The same door that once opened to pain is being tested again, and your reaction will determine whether it stays sealed or reopens. You are being refined for something greater. Heaven is calling you into spiritual leadership, even if you don't see it yet. Every test that returns from your past is confirmation that your new season is near. The higher you ascend, the more old energy tries to drag you down, not because you're weak, but because your ascent threatens the imbalance of those still trapped below. Michael stands at your side, reminding you that divine warriors must learn to guard not only their hearts, but their atmosphere. Have you noticed how your dreams have been more vivid, your thoughts sharper, and your emotions more intense? This is your spirit awakening. The angelic realm is expanding your sensitivity so that you can discern even subtle shifts in vibration. You are being trained to recognize truth in an instant, to feel the weight of deception before words are spoken. That sensitivity will become your armor in the days ahead. The person returning from your past may not even understand why they feel drawn to you again. On a soul level, they are seeking light, but the spirit that surrounds them seeks to absorb it. You must love them without becoming their energy source. Michael says, compassion is divine, but rescue is not your assignment. You are called to illuminate, not to drain. In the coming days, you might feel emotional echoes of the past, but do not mistake them for desire. They are simply signals that energy is shifting. When that happens, breathe deeply and say within, only divine light may touch me. This decree aligns your aura with heaven and severs attachments that no longer belong. And now, as Michael's light intensifies around you, he whispers, the next revelation will uncover what your spirit has been sensing, the hidden reason you had to walk away, and the blessing that was waiting behind obedience. Hold on, because the next part will open your eyes to why your separation was divine protection all along. Type I choose obedience over emotion in the comments if your spirit agrees with this message. Blessing code 6633 has now been released to seal your discernment and elevate your peace. Beloved warrior of light, Archangel Michael now reveals the hidden reason you had to walk away. He says, every detachment I ordered in your past was not rejection, it was redirection. When you were pulled away from that connection, you thought it was loss, but heaven called it preservation. There were energies forming around that relationship that your human eyes could not see. The spirit that accompanies that person has always been aware of your light, even when you were unaware of your own. That is why separation had to come before elevation. Michael wants you to understand that divine protection often disguises itself as heartbreak. The tears you shed back then were actually cleansing your vision. Every unanswered prayer from that season was God saying, if you saw what I saw, you would thank me for the silence. You were not abandoned, you were hidden. The angelic realm shielded your spirit from manipulation that could have stolen your destiny before it matured. It was not weakness that made you walk away. It was obedience you didn't yet understand. Now, as this person tries to return, you are facing a mirror. You are being shown how much you've grown and how much your spirit has outgrown what once felt essential. This encounter is not about rekindling a bond. It is about realizing your transformation. Michael declares, you are no longer a seeker of validation. You are a keeper of divine clarity. You no longer need others to confirm your worth, because heaven has already stamped it on your soul. That is why you can meet the past with peace instead of pain. Yet even now, the returning energy may appear sorrowful, humble, or in need. You must remember, brokenness does not always equal sincerity. Some spirits weep not for repentance but for access. They cry not for healing but for influence. Michael warns, do not confuse emotional intensity with spiritual truth. The proof of transformation is not in words but in vibration. Watch how your spirit feels when they speak. Your body will tell you the truth. The heart may remember, but the soul will recognize energy. In the divine balance, this moment is holy. It is your final test before new doors open. Heaven cannot entrust great things to those who are easily swayed by familiar emotions. That is why this moment feels so heavy. It carries both memory and prophecy. The person returning may symbolize your past, but your response now determines the shape of your future. There is something else Michael wants you to know. Sometimes, the spirit attached to your past tries to mimic divine timing. It shows up when you are lonely, tired, or questioning your purpose. That is not coincidence. It is strategy. Darkness always appears when light expands. Your awareness of this is your greatest weapon. When you choose peace instead of reaction, you silence its influence. That silence becomes your shield. You have reached a level where discernment has become instinct. The battles you faced were training grounds. Now you see clearly. Your heart no longer bends to every vibration that calls your name. This is what freedom feels like. Michael says, you have passed through fire, and now you shine without apology. The angel stands behind you now, wings wide, sword drawn, sealing you in divine authority. He says your light has graduated from defense to dominion. That means no past attachment, no hidden spirit, and no old energy can drain you again without your permission. The chains that once held you are now afraid of your voice. But there is one more truth to be revealed: the hidden spiritual exchange that takes place when old energy tries to reconnect. You'll want to hear this next, because it explains why heaven takes interference so seriously. What comes next will unveil how the unseen realm reacts when light confronts deception. Type "I am untouchable" in light in the comments if this message confirms what you already sensed in your spirit. Blessing code 7744 is now ignited to sustain your divine authority. Beloved child of light, Archangel Michael now exposes what happens in the unseen realm when the past tries to reconnect. He says, every spiritual bond leaves an imprint, and every imprint has a vibration. When you shared your heart with that person, a spiritual cord was formed, a connection of energy and memory. Over time, as you grew and healed, that cord weakened. Heaven helped you cut it so that your energy could flow freely again. But when this person begins to reach out, when their thoughts and emotions turn toward you, that old imprint starts vibrating once more. It's like a frequency searching for response. Michael says, the enemy tries to use that echo to pull you backward into resonance with what you've outgrown. You may have felt it recently, a sudden wave of emotion, an unexplainable heaviness, or memories that come uninvited. That is not coincidence. It's the past calling out for recognition. But hear this clearly. Acknowledgement is not permission. You can recognize the call without answering it. You can sense the pull without turning around. Michael reminds you, what you feed grows, and what you ignore dissolves. Every time you resist the urge to revisit what is gone, you strengthen your spiritual sovereignty. The spiritual exchange that occurs when old energy tries to reconnect is very real. When you engage emotionally, even for a moment, you begin to transfer energy. Your peace flows outward while their confusion flows inward. That imbalance can make you feel drained or distracted. This is why discernment is your most vital armor. It keeps you from participating in energetic theft disguised as reconnection. Michael's voice rises with divine authority as he declares, your energy is sacred currency. Spend it only where it multiplies light. Understand this deeply. Your spirit is now in a realm of elevation. Old frequencies cannot coexist with what heaven is doing in you. That is why you have felt separation, silence, and solitude. It was never parliamented with preparation. You are being prepared for divine partnerships that are balanced, mutual, and spiritually pure. The returning soul is simply a shadow test before that new alignment arrives. Once you discern correctly, the shadow will lose its strength. So when they come, and they will, look not at their words but at your peace. If your peace retreats, the connection is not of God. The Holy Spirit does not operate in confusion. You are being taught to measure truth, not by emotion, but by stillness. That is the language of divine guidance. Michael's presence surrounds you even now. His wings spread wide, a shield of light protecting your heart from subtle manipulation. You are not being warned to fear. You are being prepared to rule. You are stepping into a realm where you control what enters your atmosphere. The power dynamic has shifted. No longer are you the one who seeks closure. You are the one who holds it. Before this revelation closes, remember this. You are light, and light does not chase shadows. It exposes them. The moment you see clearly, the illusion loses form. That is why discernment is your ultimate liberation. Keep watching, for what unfolds next will reveal the final secret, the reason heaven allowed this person to reappear now, and what divine outcome it will produce in your destiny. Wait for it, because the next unveiling will strike like lightning across your understanding. Before you go further, pause and lift this mission higher. Like this message if it stirred your spirit. Share it with someone who might be walking through the same test. Comment below how this word spoke to your heart, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what heaven is about to uncover next. Type "I guard my energy with light" in the comments if this truth has awakened your spirit. Blessing code 8855 is now active around your aura and your destiny. You are walking through a prophetic doorway, and this message has been a sword of light in your hand. When you stand with this mission, through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link below, you are helping this word of discernment reach those still bound in deception. Every seed you sow is an act of warfare against confusion. Michael's fire burns brighter through every giver who fuels this light. God says those who fund truth shall reap illumination. I speak over you now. Your act of obedience becomes your shield. As you pour into this ministry, may heaven pour uncommon peace into your household. This is not a request. It is a calling. Sow into the light, and watch the heavens open in your favor. Child of divine radiance, Archangel Michael now unveils the most concealed layer of this revelation, the reason heaven has permitted this old connection to reappear. He says, God never allows the past to return without purpose. The reemergence of this person is not for emotional closure, it is for spiritual confirmation. You are being shown what you have outgrown. Heaven is letting you see with full awareness what once blinded you, so that you never again mistake attachment for alignment. The angels have been observing your strength in silence. They have watched you evolve from a heart that once begged for peace to a soul that now carries it. And so, the divine order allows this spirit from your past to knock one final time, not to re-enter, but to reveal. The revelation is not about them. It is about you. This is heaven's way of showing you that you are no longer the same vessel you once were. You have moved from dependency to discernment, from seeking love to embodying it. Michael whispers, the test has returned not to tempt you, but to show you that you are free. In the unseen, this encounter is a closing ceremony. Every emotional tie that once drained you is being brought to the surface to be released completely. The spirit that follows this person cannot hold power over you anymore, but it will attempt one last time to see if the old pattern still exists. When it finds none, it will lose authority and depart permanently. This is why it is so important that you stand firm in peace. Do not react emotionally. Respond spiritually. The moment you remain calm, heaven seals the lesson. You may notice subtle signs as this energy approaches, interruptions in sleep, sudden thoughts, even songs or numbers that once connected you to this person. These are not coincidences. They are signals that the spiritual transaction is nearing completion. Do not fear them. The very presence of these signs means the cycle is closing. Michael says, the final wave is the signal of completion, not continuation. When you choose stillness instead of engagement, that wave passes and cannot return. This moment is sacred. You are witnessing the death of an old version of yourself. That person who once doubted, pleaded, or clung to what was fading is gone. A new spirit now inhabits your body, one trained by silence, prayer, and divine correction. You have become light refined through fire. Michael calls you the one who endures. That is not a title given lightly. It is earned through obedience. Understand that when you hold your boundary, you are not resisting a person. You are obeying a divine law. Every time you choose discernment over emotion, you strengthen your connection to heaven's current. Disobedience builds spiritual momentum, pushing you closer to your true destiny. That is why Archangel Michael's presence has intensified around you. He knows that this is the moment your past must witness your transformation. The returning person may not even recognize how much you've changed. They may sense distance, but they won't understand why. That distance is not coldness. It is divine calibration. You now vibrate at a level their spirit cannot access. You have crossed into realms of peace that confusion cannot enter. This is the evidence that your journey was never in vain. Soon, you will look back and realize that this encounter was not a threat, but a graduation. The one who once drained your energy has become the proof of your spiritual ascension. You will not need to fight or explain. Your peace will speak louder than any word. Michael says, your silence will testify of your evolution. But there is still one more revelation, one that concerns what heaven is releasing in exchange for your obedience. For when one door from the past closes, another opens toward divine alignment. The next message will unveil what this new season holds, and the blessing heaven has reserved for those who pass this test. Stay close, because what comes next carries the vibration of divine reward. Type "I have passed the test" in the comments if your spirit feels the truth of this word. Blessing code 9966 has now been activated to seal your freedom and open new paths of divine manifestation. Child of the Most High, Archangel Michael stands now upon the threshold of your new season. His voice echoes like thunder through the corridors of your spirit as he declares, the door you refused to reopen has now become the gate of your promotion. The very test that tried to pull you backward has become the key that pushes you forward. What once came to drain you now serves as the divine proof that you have matured in wisdom, restraint, and alignment. Heaven rewards obedience, not reaction, and your restraint has summoned new favor. Michael explains that divine obedience always activates divine release. The moment you chose peace over emotion, an unseen chain snap. The energy that had been circling your destiny for years, confusion, heartbreak, instability, has been broken. You have severed a cycle that generations before you could not end. Your decision not to answer the call of the past has liberated your lineage. Michael says, your silence was not avoidance, it was warfare. You are stepping into a vibration where your discernment becomes your protection and your peace becomes your power. The angels are now shifting around you, realigning your environment with your purpose. The silence you felt these past weeks was not abandonment, it was construction. Heaven was rearranging your circumstances, ensuring that only those meant for your elevation remain close. That's why certain friendships faded, opportunities shifted, and plans you thought were secure suddenly changed direction. You were being positioned for divine flow, not human approval. The one who tried to return was simply the final echo of an old frequency. Once you saw through it and stood still, the echo broke apart like smoke in the wind. Now, your spiritual atmosphere is clear, your path straight, and your calling illuminated. You may have noticed that your sleep feels lighter, your heart calmer, your intuition sharper. These are signs that spiritual interference hath been removed. Michael has swept your aura clean of attachments that drained your focus. The light now moves freely again. Heaven is now preparing to send new connections into your life, souls that match your healed vibration. These will not drain but amplify you. They will not compete but complement. They will see your light not as a resource to consume, but as a reflection to honor. The Archangel says, the relationships that come after warfare are never random. they are rewards. You are about to witness divine companionships that carry peace instead of performance, depth instead of deception. And yet, Michael reminds you not to forget the lesson. The discernment you learn in this season is not to be stored away but to be carried forward. Each new blessing will require the same awareness that protected you here. Peace must remain your filter. The moment you sense confusion, step back, for light never travels with haste. You will know what is divine by how gently it rests in your spirit. Michael's presence grows brighter around you now, a confirmation that the atmosphere has shifted. He holds his sword before you and declares, "The cycle is complete." The past can no longer touch what you have purified through truth. You are no longer tied to memories that once bound your mind. Your emotional field is being sealed with blue fire, ensuring that nothing unclean can reattach. Every thought of regret is being replaced with gratitude. You will not mourn what left, for heaven has already prepared what's next. Do not rush this moment. Breathe it in. You are standing in spiritual stillness where your next chapter begins. The reward of discernment is revelation, and the reward of obedience is expansion. The same angels that once guarded you in heartbreak now walk beside you in destiny. The door behind you is closed, and in front of you, light spills like dawn across a new horizon. Hold on, because the next message carries the revelation of the promise, what heaven is releasing as a sign that your obedience was seen and sealed. What comes next is not warning but prophecy fulfilled. Stay close, for the sound of breakthrough is approaching. Type "I receive my reward" in light in the comments if you feel this message confirming your next chapter. Blessing code 1001 has been released to mark your completion and unlock your divine inheritance. Beloved vessel of light, Archangel Michael now unveils the prophecy of your reward. The season that tested your endurance has finally turned. What once tried to pull you back into confusion has become the very platform from which you rise. Michael's voice carries the weight of divine authority as he declares, "You have mastered the art of spiritual silence, and heaven now trusts you with revelation." Every tear, every unanswered question, every lonely night was not wasted. It was a preparation for this moment when your spirit stands unshaken before what once had power over you. The heavens record obedience, and your restraint hath been noted in the divine archives. Because you chose not to reopen the door of the past, that same door is now being transformed into a window of opportunity. You will see what you were meant to see all along, that nothing lost in truth was ever meant to remain. Michael reveals that heaven is releasing a restoration unlike anything you've known. What left in confusion will return as clarity, what left in sorrow will return as strength, and what left empty will return overflowing. This restoration will not come through the old connection but through divine substitution. Heaven replaces what is impure with what is holy, what is unstable with what is unshakable. The blessing coming your way carries the exact frequency of your obedience. It will not test you, it will confirm you. Michael whispers, "The next chapter of your life will speak peace to every wound your silence once concealed." This is divine justice, not revenge. Justice that restores balance to your energy and reclaims what was spiritually taken from you. In the unseen realm, angels have begun aligning new paths around you. Financial flow, spiritual clarity, and relational peace are weaving themselves into your destiny. You may feel sudden waves of anticipation, as though something unseen is approaching. That feeling is your spirit sensing the vibration of fulfillment. The same way you once felt drained when dissection approached, you now feel charged when divine promise draws near. Heaven is teaching you to recognize blessings before they manifest. Michael says the next phase of your journey is not about survival. It is about dominion. You are moving from defense to expansion. The light within you no longer flickers. It burns steady, and the darkness can no longer mimic it. You will start attracting new souls who speak your spiritual language. They will come not to test you but to build with you. These are divine companions sent to assist your assignment, for your energy has now become a beacon for other warriors of light. But Michael adds a final caution. Do not explain your elevation to those still trapped in their old frequencies. Some will not understand how you changed, and that misunderstanding is protection. Keep your peace private, your plans sacred, and your revelations guarded until heaven instructs their release. You are not called to convince the past. You are called to illuminate the future. As this message reaches its crescendo, you must understand that every warning carried within it a promise, and every promise carried within it a test. You have passed them all. The next sound you hear from the heavens will not be correction, but commissioning. You will be sent forth to carry this discernment into other lives. Your story will become a light for those still entangled with the shadows you escaped. Michael raises his sword of blue fire and says, "The appointed time has arrived." You are sealed in clarity, empowered by peace, and marked by victory. No spirit from your past can trespass the light now surrounding you. The gates of confusion are locked, and the corridors of destiny stand open. You are free. But the angel has one last revelation to deliver, one that will close this message with divine authority. The final part will not be a warning, but a decree, the sealing of all that has been spoken. Stay with this message, because the last release will carry the blessing code that completes this entire spiritual cycle. Type "I walk in divine completion" in the comments if your soul feels this shift. Blessing code 1110 has now descended upon your path to affirm your victory and to crown your obedience with peace. Beloved child of the eternal light, the final revelation has arrived. Archangel Michael stands before the throne of God, and in this moment, his message carries both closure and coronation. He declares, "The warning has served its purpose. The warrior has been awakened. You have crossed through the valley of deception, endured the shadow of confusion, and now you stand in the radiance of truth. What began as a season of testing has transformed into a season of triumph. Heaven does not merely celebrate your survival, it honors your discernment. You listened, you waited, and you obeyed, even when obedience cost you what your heart once desired." Michael speaks gently now, his voice steady like the sound of wind through ancient flame. He says, "The past that sought to return carried lessons, not love. Every memory that resurfaced was a mirror meant to show you who you have become. The one who once held fragments of your peace can no longer recognize the fullness of your spirit, because you have ascended beyond the vibration that bound you. You are not standing where you used to, you are standing on sacred ground. This is the territory of divine mastery, where the soul no longer begs for clarity, it breathes it. Heaven has recorded your faithfulness. You refused to reopen the door that once drained your strength, and by doing so, you broke an ancient pattern that generations before you could not. The spirit that traveled through your lineage, the one that used charm, nostalgia, or guilt to hold hearts captive, has now been severed permanently. Michael's sword has divided the sacred from the familiar, the true from the false, and the eternal from the temporary. The curse of emotional entrapment ends with you. Now the heavens open in response. There is movement in the unseen as angels begin aligning divine rewards to replace what was surrendered. A new opportunity, pure companionship, and spiritual abundance are all flowing toward you. You will find that peace now precedes every decision. You will no longer chase love, you will attract it. You will no longer search for understanding, you will speak from it. The power that once seemed external is now anchored within your being. Michael calls this the crown of awareness, a mantle granted to those who learn discernment through endurance. The Archangel says that in this era of your life, your silence will carry prophetic weight. When you walk into a room, peace will follow you. When you speak, confusion will settle. When you pray, realms will shift. You have become a vessel of balance between mercy and truth. The very energy that once drew manipulation will now repel it. You are surrounded by blue flame, Michael's divine shield, which ensures that no shadow from your past can invade your future. But remember, beloved, this victory is not to be hidden. You are now a messenger. Heaven has chosen you to speak light into the lives of others who still wrestle with their own returning pasts. You are not simply free. You are commissioned. Every word you share from this revelation will act as a sword of discernment for someone else. Michael says, when light speaks, chains break. Your story will break chains. As the heavens close this chapter, Michael blesses you with a final decree. Walk forward and do not look back. What once sought to harm you now bows to your authority. The shadow has learned your name, and it fears your silence. You are marked by victory, guarded by fire, and crowned in peace. The story of your restoration begins now. Before you move forward, take a moment to breathe deeply and thank heaven for what has been revealed to you. Like this message, share it so that others may receive their own warning and victory, and comment below the part that spoke directly to your soul. Subscribe, because more revelations are being released in this season, and each carries a code for your continued awakening. Type "I am sealed in light forever" in the comments if your heart receives this final decree. Blessing code 1212 is now activated to close the past and open the gates of divine destiny before you. This journey has carried you through revelation, warning, and victory, and now, as the light settles within you, heaven invites you to become a vessel of its spread. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you're not funding words, you're fueling deliverance. Each seed you sow carries light into dark corners where confusion still lives. The word says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and that promise is alive for you now. I speak directly to your spirit. Your giving is not transaction, it's transformation. As you stand with this message, may open heavens answer your faith with overflow. The oil that covered this revelation will cover your home, your heart, and your household. Release your seed, and watch divine reciprocity move swiftly in your favor.